Alright, guess we're live. What's up? The fuck happened here? Oh wait, I'd like to pay for this? The fuck? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Screw that. Hey Justin, what's up? Screw it, let's go on FinViz. I'm kinda speaking what's it called? Hacker News is slow as fuck today. There's nothing worth reading, at least in my opinion. So let's just have some fun and just kinda like screw around with FinViz, see what pops up. Oh, I'm kinda quiet? Hold up. Fuck is my volume? Okay, is this better, y'all? Alright. Anyway. Yeah, let me know if that works. Right now I'm just kind of fucking around on FinViz, see what turns up. I don't really see anything on Hacker News that's worth reading. But if you have a story or something you want me to look at, I'll be happy to read it. But I didn't really see anything that caught my attention. Market cap, let's go less than 10 billion just for funsies. Sector debt to equity, let's say sales growth. Let's say positive. Insider ownership, ideally I'd like this to be higher. Operating margins, I'd like it to be positive. I don't want them to, or maybe just in case like Rona. Actually no, let's be a little bit strict for now. Gross margins need to be absolutely positive. There's no way I'm going to accept anything else. Okay, I would say let's look at high volatility. What the fuck is this? Holdings? Oh, retail China. Nah, I'm not too big on the China market, so let's say country US. I don't feel like going into ADRs just yet. Return on assets, price cash. What? Well, I'd like it to be profitable. Okay, 49. I don't want beta. I don't want it. It's kind of hard. Do I want it to be correlated with the S&P or not? Let's avoid that for now. I want to avoid the analyst recommendation. I really don't want to. I really don't look at this. Return on assets, price to cash. I mean, price to book. I guess under 2 would be pretty good. Okay, 21. Let's exclude the REITs, insider transactions, industry. Well, let's say over 10%, just to be okay. Okay, that cool. That brings us to 3 pages. Sweet. This I already have a position in. I already own this one, so I don't care. Still gonna hold this position. Yeah, net. It's just a pure net play for me. So I don't care. Waste management. I think I looked at this before. I'll look at this later. This one's catching my eye. Okay. Wait, I feel like I've looked at this before, and then they're actually a conglomerate of like golf course as well. And I remember distinctly saying, no, I don't want this shit. Price to earnings, price to yeah. Well, it could be a different one. I'll just keep this up here for now. What else? Franklin Wireless. Don't know anything about them. Wait, Gaia? Hold up. Gaia, like a Gaia as in Gaia Online? As in the people who make MapleStory? Wait, is this the same one? Hold up. What the fuck? Internet communication. Oh, alternative media video streaming service. No, never mind. I was thinking like fucking MapleStory. Screw that. No. Damn it. What else are we gonna look at here? No. Industrials. I feel like industrials are a little bit jacked right now. Diversified REITs. I probably short them. Shoe Carnival. I think they own like Do they own? They don't own Reebok. They own like Shoe Palace, and so I'm not big on that. Seneca Foods. Ooh, yeah. I remember looking at this one before. The price of the book was actually really good. This would have been a pure net play. Um, yeah, I probably should have bought them here. And I was being stubborn as fuck. Yeah, so actually that's a good 2-to-1. I might actually get in on this if I. Yeah, I mean they're basically just shell out a bunch of generic food. So if I can figure out like the what's it called the play on that, I probably need to open up to 10K. Yeah, actually let's open up the 10K for that one. Like while we have 5 minutes, I can just kind of show you like my thought process when I look at these things. Seneca Food 10K. So let's go to 2022 8K. So where's the annual filing PDF? Great, cool. I'm already familiar with this. I've already read this before, I think, in the past. Where is the balance sheet? Fuck. So where's? Yeah, it should have been financial statement supplementary. Our revenue. Okay, there we go. Cool. Consolidated suite. Let's see. Assets, current assets, which is basically their ability to pay off things in a year. I think this is the total current assets. So these are all in thousands. So okay, inventory. They should be able to just sell out. I'm fine. Assets held for discontinued, not relevant. Accounts receivable. Okay, so they already paid that. They are due the service for contract receivable. It's fine. So 500 million right here. Deferred income tax paid off, doesn't matter. Pension assets. Well, it's I'm gonna exclude this, but in general, it doesn't look like it makes as big a dent on the total assets, so it's not really that. It doesn't matter that much. Right of assets, property, plant and equipment, net depreciation. So the property, plant and equipment, it depends. Okay, so land is not that much. Building and equip. Okay. So the question I would need to calculate the equipment value, what the turnover is for that. But let's give them the benefit of doubt for now that it's not that it doesn't matter that much. I'll add back in the depreciation. So we have what let's say about 1.3 billion in assets. Liabilities, securitification, blah, blah, blah. Nothing stands out too much. Long-term debt and pension liabilities. I don't care. Is there accumulated comprehensive loss? Retained earnings. Okay, they have a lot of retained earnings. So basically they have $1 billion in book value right now. What the fuck? What the fuck? How do they have $1 billion in book value right now? Is Nvidia still a buy? I can't make a recommendation. I'm just doing a quick analysis on Seneca Foods just because I remember being like super stubborn about not buying them. I just kind of want to just do a quick smoke check. Cash flow for operations. Okay, less the depreciation and amortization. So 30 million a year. Okay, that's fine. Deferred tax to 401k matching. Change in operating assets, inventories. Okay, so this is all the cash flows from inventory. All right, cash flows from investing, PPE. So this is how much they spend per year. So 65 million on refreshing the equipment. I think they might have a one-time payoff, but nothing really. Payment of long-term debts. Okay, whatever. Seems pretty consistent. I'll look at it over time, but looks fine. Wait, where's the revenues? Fuck. Okay, they gave me the assets and liabilities, and then they gave me the cash flow statement, but where the fuck's the revenues? Oh, okay, here we go. Net sales, 1.3, 1.46. Okay, so 10% year over... I can give them 10%. That's fine. Year over year, cost of products sold. Well, I need to look at the inventory and turnover ratios. I think that's pretty much what's going to tell me how good this is. Cost, selling, general, administrative, fine. It scales. Yeah, all the costs fuck? Other operating income. Why is this so high? Why is this taking off so much? Like, it makes sense that these costs and expenses should scale with the net sales because effectively they just sell the foods. So it's just more inventory, more labor. The only thing that doesn't change is the plant. So earnings from continuous operations before income tax, net earnings. That should be pretty fucking good, actually. I'm gonna discount this. I don't know why. The cost should scale. That's the problem. Okay, so let's just say I take the 2020 number, just worst case scenario. I call it 5.2. Let's say 52 million, right? And because I think this is an anomaly. The 100 million. So 5.52 million. Project that out at 10%. Let's say that's worth 400 million plus 1 billion in book value. And then plus, let's say 0.1, that's 0.8, times the 50 million, or 200 million, so that's probably what's that? That's 180 million, no, this is 200 million, yeah, it's 108 million additional revenues, so I would buy this at probably like 1.5 billion, so let's say what Seneca Food, market cap. Let's look at the Seneca Food market cap. Oh yeah, and then each year I have to add back in the depreciation. So I think I mentioned that they're basically depreciating at a rate of. Where's the depreciation? Yeah. So add back 30 million. So actually, this should be 80 million. This should be an 80 million thing. So 50 million. So 8 divided by 5. 1.6 times. So 1 billion plus 0.5 times 8 divided by 5. So this is actually worth 1.8 billion. Fuck. Yeah, I would actually give this a $1.8 billion valuation. Huh, interesting. Why was I being so fucking stubborn? Yeah, why was I so stubborn about buying this? Ah, screw it. I'll go out and buy it later. Screw it. Anyway. That's not a stock recommendation, but hopefully I can kind of go back and explain what I did later. But for now, let's jump into the client call. Yo, hello.
Hello?
Yo, what's up? Damn, you're loud. What's up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool, perfect. Yeah, let's open up. Let me open up your sheet. Hopefully you had a relaxing weekend.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I started practice on Monday. Yeah,
Cool,
yesterday.
perfect.
And not Saturday.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. I see your replays. And this is your practice sheet 10. So let me take a look at this. Okay, cool.
I started with dynamic programming, as you mentioned.
Perfect. Palindromic subsequence. So yeah. What do you think? Did you fill out your practice diary, by the way?
What you said?
Did you fill out your practice diary and review your mistakes?
Yes. Yes.
Let me bring that up.
Oh yeah. One thing I'm trying to do is, like as you mentioned on the past stream, to have one reason in favor and the other against my mistake. You know,
Yep.
just to check if we are sacrificing safety and assurance, compared with faster time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. I want you to do that. So let's take a look at your diary first. So what do you feel like you've been doing right and wrong in your practice? What have you noticed? Any patterns? Anything that you feel like you're stuck on?
Well, actually, the mechanics, like all of the chill and the chicken part, I think it's in the same point, right? Like I'm able to have the same mechanics in order to derive an answer. But I don't know if it's specific for dynamic programming questions. But sometimes I still struggling with the memoization part, and I guess that I just need to go back to some recursion problems because, like, for example, in this last problem,
Mm-hmm.
and in the palindromic partitioning, I just had a little bit of hard time just to derive like an answer, like a recursive answer. Without the recursive answer, I cannot like go to the memoized version.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, those are the things, and yeah, those are the patterns. Yeah,
Got
I
it.
perceived.
Okay. So I see. So let's take a look at what you wrote here. My solution went in another approach, and I was trying to create the palindrome instead of comparing the elements. Able to solve the problem. Against, I could have stated the inefficiencies better in order to keep improving my solution. Okay. This solution was much more efficient at each call. They are only company the current characters of the start and end, while my solution is palindromic function. Next time I should efficiently solution analyze as a whole. I'm not quite sure what you mean by this first one actually. Let me take
Like, for example, their solution, they were like comparing each character from the string in order to make a subsequence that is a palindrome.
yes.
What I was trying to think is like different. Like, let me just try to create a subsequence, okay, and then run this is palindromic function in order to check if it's a palindrome or not. So it was much more inefficient
Ah,
comparing of what Grokking was doing.
got it. I see. I'm looking at your code right now. For the longest palindromic subsequence, wait, let me just read the problem just to make sure I'm doing this right. So, given a sequence, find the length of its longest palindromic subsequence. In a palindromic subsequence, element read the same backwards forward, okay? A subsequence is a sequence that can be derived from another sequence by deleting some elements without changing the elements, sure. So, A, B, D, B, C, A. The longest palindromic subsequence is A, B, D, B, A. Because you delete one element, okay?
Yeah.
So the only operation you're allowed to do is deleting. Got it. Okay, so let's see.
Yeah.
Try different possibilities for deletion. Yep. So at every single point, so for a string, try every single possible place you can delete. Fine. Okay. So for current
It's
string.
kind of a naive approach, but
Yep.
actually it was more complexity than the Grokking one,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, you always start with a naive approach. I acknowledge it, right? So it's fine.
Yeah.
So if basic length of string -1, if current substring is palindromic, should I call cursively current increment the current item? Don't you mean delete? Not increment?
Mm, yeah, I was trying to go in a different approach, like just incrementing, you know?
Oh,
Like because I just considered this, as you mentioned, like to delete, but I was kind of not knowing how I would implement this. And I knew how to implement by adding. So I just analyzed if like it was will solve my problem, and I went into this direction.
okay. So by increment, you mean adding back the current letter.
Yeah, yeah. So at each call I have two decisions, or to increment or not, you know, the current item.
Okay, I see what you did. The reason why I don't like that is because I get it's like an inversion of the problem, but to me it's way too abstract. I don't. It's not immediately clear to me how, in theory, what you would do is if you did that, you add like say the first letter, right? You choose whether or not to add the first letter, whether or not to add the second letter, and then the number of deletions would just be what's it called? The
Difference.
inverse of that minus like the word length minus the additions because it must be the
Yeah.
inverse. But the problem is that it's just not clear to me. It's not like there's no road forward because even if you did that, I get the feeling like if you do it this far in the problem, it's just not the clearest solution. You know, it's not the first solution I would have gone with. So I think that you tried to hide your the fact that you didn't know how to do it by just doing something easier, and something a little bit more complicated. I mean, yeah,
Go ahead.
it's
Go
not
ahead.
it's not really clear to me. I would not have done this.
Okay, but one thing I kept in mind, I acknowledge the thing of this being more complicated, you know, but I kept this thing that you said once, like of not trying to be brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
So because I was not trying to find, I was not finding another solution.
Okay.
That was the most obvious solution for me at first,
Uh huh.
and then I tried to like optimize this. Yeah.
It could be also that's also what is possibly getting you to this convoluted code. Actually, Because no, I think this is actually what kills you at the complexity of your code at the beginning. Because notice here that you actually no, the number of operations is literally the same because because if it's a top-down approach, you take the string and then you choose whether or not to delete at each individual thing. Instead, here you go bottom up and then you choose whether or not to add. So in theory, the complexity should be pretty much the same.
No, but I'm comparing. I'm just using this palindromic function, so it increases the complexity. You know, given the fact that we have to iterate over the substring. Actually, the subsequence, yeah. You know, so it increases the complexity.
Your runtime just blows up because you're iterating over the same string over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the point. You know, I acknowledge exactly this point, but like their solution was for me, right? The first time I saw the solution was, that's brilliant. I will never like. I would have more. I will have to have more time in order to come up with a solution like this. That, yeah. But I tried to like mock their line of thought for the following exercises.
I see.
Yeah. Not going to this blowing up the complexity.
I understand. Okay, I understand direction. Again, I don't fault you for doing that, but it's just not I understand where you're thinking. And I think the overall thinking, the direction, the methodology you used correct. It's just I think the fact that you only saw increment and kind of hung on to that was probably the Achilles. But and also like when you said max option A, B, C, should it be the inverse because you are taking the word length? Because the number of increments of the current item is just word length minus increments should get you the decrement, no? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, the thing I was trying to do is like the max is because, like, think if I have like the biggest palindrome, you know, the biggest subsequence.
Yeah.
The difference between the original string is gonna be less. It's gonna be, you know. So for that reason, I'm going to the max. If I go to the minimum, it's gonna be just a unique letter.
Oh no.
Therefore,
I don't mean that. I mean that when you return the final value, it has to be the max. It has to be the length of the string minus the max of whatever you got.
Hold up.
Because like for instance, let's say I do CPCPD, right? And let's say I find out that hey, I need to add 3 letters to get my desired result, max result, right? And let's just say, for instance, that's like CCD. That means that it's the equivalent of taking away D and P. Right?
Can you repeat just this part?
So let's say instead of CDCPD, right? Let's say like it's a let's suppose that these letters stand for like some random other letters, right? And let's say for instance that in my solution, I find that the max means I need to add C, C, and D here, right? Just out of just for simplicity's sake.
Okay.
That means that I need to add 3 letters, which is the equivalent of taking away D and P. Right?
But you need to take away P and D.
Yes, correct. So your solution would have produced CCD, which is 3.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that you need to take the length of the string minus that in order to get the answer. Not in the recursion, but as the last thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I think that's probably the first. It's a small one, but it's one that I think you could have been aware of. Either way, let's go with your line of thinking for the bottom-up approach. I mean, it's a little. I would say that this is the clever solution more than anything, but I'm not gonna harp too much on it. Let's see.
One thing, sometimes for the following questions, I was having kind of the same problem. You know.
Yeah.
Instead of deleting, I was trying to go in this bottom-up, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is like the right way to think, or maybe try to insist more in how can I derive a code for deleting?
It's not.
I was just kind of like.
It's not wrong in the sense. I don't want you to like remove this from your toolbox. What I'm saying is that if the problem calls for just deleting items, right? I would have just gone straight for it. I would have just gone straight for the top-down approach, where I just take the tree and then delete it, and delete each of the
I see.
elements, right? Because
What's
it's the most obvious.
Yeah, most obvious.
Yeah. So what you did was try to get around that because it's not obvious. But to me, it's like they literally tell you straight up that you're deleting. So I would have just gone that. Um, yeah. I mean, like I get that in some situations that oh my god I can't figure it out. Let me do the inverse of it. That's fine. That's a tool. That's a tool. Don't get me wrong. It's just that it's not the first thing that would have I would have gone. So I think for you, when you're doing this, to me this is clever. But to you, it's just obvious. So to me, it's kind of like a misunderstanding there. I think. So I'm gonna say that I think just you're doing this because you don't know how to do the top-down approach. So that's just kind of covering your weakness.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Yeah.
So, but I mean, as long as it runs, you plug if you plug this into Grokking and it gave you the same answer, then more power to you. To be honest, but did you plug it in?
I plug into my compiler. Let me
you
just check.
you should try to run it through Grokking as well. I think Grokking should have a area where you can actually test your code.
Yeah, I copied from Grokking and run on my compiler.
Did you run it? No, they should have a compiler as well. Let me
oh yeah, you're right.
Did you run it through?
Oh, you're right. I test like just a minute. That's the first one. Yeah, I test on like by hand doing the tests.
Okay.
Like the recursive calls.
Sure. Yeah, you probably tested by hand, but I want to see if you actually tried plugging into their stuff because like we're gonna miss tests. We're only human. Right?
No, for this one I haven't plugged there.
I would suggest you plug it in before you call it right or wrong.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
There's a code on like page 3. No. Yeah, it's on page 3. 3 to 4. Yeah. The last line is on the 4.
Anyway. Okay, yeah. So I want you to basically do that. Don't miss out. Like if there's a chance that I was like, remember when I said like there's a possibility that you can die, right? But if there's literally a compiler there that says, hey, we can check your answer and just copy paste your code, you should do that. So it's not enough that it should compile. It has to be right too. So anyway, basically the problem here is I see that you're just covering up weakness. So I want you to redo the problem, doing the top-down approach, and really learn how to do it.
I see. I will do it.
Yeah. But yeah, the intuition here is that the start index, the base case is that if one letter is a is a palindrome, and then what they do is like they just decrement it by moving the ends down one. So they shrink it in by one if the end elements are the same. So like in ABA, you will and your start end pointers are at A and A at the ends. They're equal. So then a palindrome would be if the stuff inside the middle plus the outsides are the same, then you get a palindrome as well. So that's the intuition here. Otherwise, you're basically talking about, okay, well, what if we don't include the other ones, the one or the other?
I see.
So that's basically the intuition here. So I would say.
Yeah, I got this intuition.
Okay, cool. But yeah.
And then he's trying the other possibilities on option 1 and 2, right? Like trying both directions.
Okay. Let me see minimum delete. Let me see the next one. So, what's one did you felt like you did pretty bad on? Let me ask that.
There's one that I recorded.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Let me look at that.
No, I think that was the palindromic partitioning.
Okay, got it. Let's take a look at that. Let me download it.
Because I was kind of like, my thoughts was kind of convoluted,
Okay.
Because I went in the same like direction. Okay, how should I split, the string in order to do this? Was kind of like I understood in the end, what should I do? Should I have done? But it took me too much time, and that was a point I put on my diary, that it took something that could be obvious, It took me too much time. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Let me go ahead and hold up. Let me adjust the camera. Yeah, I'm downloading it right now. Let's actually look at this together.
So palindrome partitioning. Given a string, we want to cut it into pieces.
Okay, let's see. So, given a string, one cut in pieces such that each piece is a palindrome, write a function to return the minimum number of cuts needed. Okay, cool. So let's look at the examples. A, B, D, B, C, A. Palindrome pieces needed are A, B, D, B, C, and A. Oh, okay. The minimum number of cuts needed, so that way, so you're decomposing a string into a bunch of palindrome pieces, and you want the minimum number of palindromes that gets produced. Okay, cool. So where do you think you make the first mistake? Let's see.
3. Yeah, it's yep. Yeah.
So you mean no cuts, correct? So you're doing like your base cases, fine?
Say. Yeah, I was
doing this cast thing you said to me.
That's fine. So you're just like trying the simple stuff. Although I think you... Okay, I see. You're building the tree here.
Yeah. Just to visualize. Oh, yeah.
Got it. Let me speed up the playback.
For every cut I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna check if that's... So, yeah. That's what I was thinking to do. So maybe... An example, how this is going to be. So, for example, we have this, and we go to here, and yeah, like that. Let's see, we're not.
So either you cut or you don't cut. Okay, fine.
It as well.
Okay.
That's going to be valid.
Okay, I see what you're doing. So for each,
I was trying to follow the same pattern.
Huh?
I was trying to follow the same pattern of like cut or not cut, you know.
I see. So yeah, the cut or don't cut. Okay,
as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's going to be. Yeah.
Okay, and then, okay, yeah, I see. So then here you don't cut, and then here on the right side it should be BD, right? Because you have A
yes.
and then B and then B and then BD on the left side, and then BD BCA on the right side.
Yeah, I skip one step.
Okay,
yeah.
I see. I would be very careful here. I get the feeling this might blow you up, but let's see.
I was just trying to follow the path until a valid answer, you know.
Got it.
Just to remove like, steps that will not add in nothing.
I think in this case I would have kept that in. The reason why is because you haven't really, because if I look on the left hand side, all I see is that you're just chopping off one letter at a time. I want to see like at least the step where you clump 2 letters at a time, 3 letters at a time, at least before you jump to this step. But I get why you're doing it, but I want to see and make sure that you're not confusing it for one other thing. Like, cause for instance, like if you're from my angle and you kind of lose track of, and sometimes you lose track of the candidate or the candidate doesn't make sense, you want to at least like have something to grasp onto to get back in to it. So for here, I don't know if you are just thinking about, just try one at a time, or you're actually trying to cut, no cut, and then actually display the grouping. So this here is a little bit of a jump, but it's not the end of the world, but I get the feeling that it might hurt you. Anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so let's see, so in other words, you already have your naive solution. Just for every single possible case, either cut or don't cut, and then recursively and backtrack. You already have that. So that's our nice solution already.
Yeah. No, but there's a point. There's a point where I messed up because you see, okay, you said that was a good solution, but I was not knowing how to implement this, how to do this cut. I just forgot the command. Yeah, and then I went in the other direction. You see, like adding. So that was not good. I pointed out this is a bad thing, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that was the
I see.
worst portion of this.
So basically, so it's the same mistake you did in the first problem that we just went over. Literally, I don't know how to do this, so let me just try and do it some weird, wonky other way.
No, but then I went back to the first one. If you like move forward, you know, I went back to the first because I remembered the command. Actually, I searched. It was a lot of time without using, you know, like those 15 days without coding Python. And I just Googled pretty fast and I can do this chunk, you know, those chunks.
Okay.
Yeah. But basically that was it. I got like in a loop, you know.
That's fine.
That's stuck in a loop.
Yeah, so I would recommend at least like getting a little bit back familiar with Python, but that's fine. It's a pretty obvious thing that you can do. It's just a mechanical thing. This is like going to be a mistake. Okay, fine. Pseudocode. Let's see what we do here. Okay, so let me see. CDP. So what state are you reusing then?
No, I'm not trying to derive the most optimal one. I was just trying to like create the recursive. So then
Oh.
I acknowledge the states and optimize this on top of this. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see.
That's what I was
So
trying.
this is your naive
to go.
solution then.
Still is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just searched for the comment. Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. Yeah. So you end up with naive solution. Did you try doing Did you try getting an optimal one or?
Was 30 minutes in, and I did not, because I was not so confident with this naive approach as well. You know. I know that was a mistake, but I analyzed and I will do this problem again. I like this to do again.
Okay. So how about this? Why don't you finish the problem for me, like right now?
Okay, there we go.
Let's open up let's open up your sheet. Let me get that open.
Okay. Because that was one of the problems I most had trouble to solve. For this reason, I haven't finished.
So let me where'd the sheet go? Got problem sheet M. Got it. Open it up. Are you in? Or
Hold up. Problem sheet.
if you want me to link it to you, I'll link it.
Problem sheet. There we go. It's opening.
Cool. Okay.
Here I am. Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
Okay, here. Let me send it to you then.
Oh, it's a problem sheet.
There you go.
Yeah, problem sheet. Yeah, you send me the link.
Cool.
Okay. Go. So I start over, or like.
Yeah. No. So pick up where you left off.
All right. So let me just copy the
Yeah,
pseudocode.
Go ahead. I'm kind of curious how you approach this. So pretend like this is an actual interview setting, and
Okay.
I want you to pick up where you left off.
Okay. So. No copy. Paste. Okay. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see it. All right, let's continue where you left off. Cool. Let's go.
Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to do here is I define this base case, right? So, like when, in case my index is greater like than the range of the given string, so I will return the max infinity.
Okay.
Because like, I just need to remember my thoughts here.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. My logic was I was trying to go with the max infinity because like it's gonna be a possibility that it's gonna be the greatest one, like in terms of cuts, you know. So automatically when I was like comparing with other answers, this will. I'm just lost in my thoughts. Let me just go back to the other version here.
Okay. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Cool. I'm just going back to see the tree of logic.
Sure.
Of like the recursion tree.
Okay. So yeah. So if the index that you're at is out of bounds, infinity, sure, position infinity.
No, I'm just trying to remember why I put max infinity, you know.
I mean, because it would take an infinite number of strings. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, infinite number of cuts if you ran over it, so that's fine.
Oh yeah, I think that was the reason. I was not remember the reason I put it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and then I set this possibility A to mean infinity, you know. So, like, do this recursive call for the next index, right? And without doing any cut. And then like passing the valid possibility, like the same I just received on the argument.
Sure.
And then the remaining string,
Okay.
right? Without doing any modification.
Fine.
Then what I do is I take this chunk thing where I like cut the remaining string up until the index, you know, considering the index as well. And then like I put into this possibility B the other part of the chunk.
Sure.
Right.
Left side, right side.
It
Fine.
should be chunk A and chunk B. I think it's better.
Sure.
That was what I was trying to do.
I get it. You're splitting the string in half. Okay.
Yeah. And just a minute. Yeah, in the position of the index.
Okay.
Right. And then what I'm gonna do here is like, yeah, if the chunk B in this case here, like, no, if the chunk A, I was trying to go in a direction of prune my tree of possibilities, you know.
Sure.
So if the chunk A is not a valid palindrome, I would not do this recursive part because there's no point on it.
Well, the thing is that you need to
Yes.
return the minimum number of cuts, right?
Yeah, but let me just paste the logic I was trying to do, because without this reference, I cannot go anywhere.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hold up.
Okay, we want to cut the pieces into minimum numbers such that each piece is a palindrome. Sure.
Okay, so yeah, I cut this first portion, A and B, B, C, A.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'm considering like the chunk B as the remaining elements as the B, D, B, C, A.
Okay.
And then doing the same thing recursively.
Yep.
Okay. So, but let me just do one thing here. Chunk A and chunk B. All right. No, that's correct. Chunk. Just a minute. Okay, one thing I'm gonna do is possibility A. I was not. I was just going to test this to see if that makes sense. Like what I was trying to
I'm
do.
already seeing what the obvious problem is. I think for you, you don't even know how to express the cutting at all.
Oh, like the chunk.
No, I mean, like,
Is-
what do you do with it? I mean, it's easy because anyone can write this. The question is, what do you do with it and how to express that? I think you have no idea.
No, what I was trying to do is like for the first half of the chunk, right, that I named chunk here,
Okay.
is one of the possibilities. Like,
Sure.
for example, if you go here when I draw this decision tree here,
Okay.
like I split the C, right? So then that's one possibility.
Correct.
And then where I append here on valid possibilities, I append the possible split A. You see?
Why do you need that?
So I can have like the possibilities of the possible palindromes, you know.
You're
So
not
that's
asked
why I-
for the palindromes themselves. You just need the number. Right? Yeah, you only need the minimum number of cuts needed. You don't need the palindrome pieces themselves.
But if it was a palindrome, I can consider this to consider the number of cuts, you know.
Okay, so
Because
then why do you need the palindrome itself? Just need the cut. Just pass around the cut.
because I went in the idea of like if I have the number of palindromes, you know, the number of palindromes minus one is the number of cuts. I went into this logic.
That sounds incredibly convoluted. Actually, it sounds a lot more complicated than it should be. Because let's say, for instance, so let's say let's go back to your tree, right? So you have
Yeah,
C
yeah.
and then C D P and then C D P whatever, right? This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this is like minimum number of cuts. Let's suppose in the case that DDPD happened to be a palindrome, this would
Okay.
just be one cut, right?
One cut, yeah.
Yeah, but let's say it's not a palindrome. Like, okay, well, we need to go even further, right? So right now you have an answer here, right? You have one
Yeah.
possible answer instead, one possible answer instead. This is an answer that requires only 1, 2, 3 cuts, right?
Yes,
This is an
yes.
answer that this is not an answer. So you just need to pass up 3 cuts. Why do you need to pass up DPDB or D or C anything like that? Because effectively, when you make this recursive call, all you need to do is figure out, okay, what is the minimum number of cuts for this to make this into the split up to palindromes that we want, plus the left side. That's it. So all it is just like, even let's say, for instance, let's say you got further in. This is why I said that I thought you were gonna kill yourself on the recursion, right? Remember how I said like you skipped a step? I think this is what's killing you. It's because it's not obvious. So let's say you went down this direction, right? On the right side.
It's on the other.
Let's
it's on the
just-
other.
Yeah, on the other side, right? CD, PDP. And then you
Yeah.
still have what's called a CD,
No, it's-
DPD, right? So then now you
Yeah.
So now here would just be this would be, since you're gonna be considering whatever CD D and then PD and then
Yeah, exactly.
PD, right? And
Yep.
so yeah, you get the idea. So the thing is
Yeah.
that notice here, you just need the cuts on the left side and the cuts on the right. The minimum number of cuts to make this true, and minimum number of cuts to make this true, right? Now, let's say for instance this became XYX, right, and then this came DD, or DQD, right?
Two palindromes.
And let's say this takes this only takes one cut, right? Here, one cut here, and because it's a palindrome. And then you just pass that up because there's just one cut, and one it just passes up, right? But let's say this changes into XTY, and GTD. Well, you only have one cut here to get this already, right? And so but you need 3 cuts here. So you see how it's just a composition?
Yeah.
It's a composition of left side, right
The
side.
left and right.
And
Yeah.
and you didn't recognize this because I feel like you kind of focused on the left side, and you're so hung up on these like, oh, one cuts.
Yeah, I got hung up on this.
Yeah,
and one question here, like on the, how would you consider like the minimum? Yeah, just the same thing recursively, right? Like the DQD.
Okay.
You know, so there's no cuts needed here because that's a full palindrome. Like in my intuition, I was trying to divide this, you know, into different pieces and like check the biggest palindrome found.
Okay.
While on your approach, you already saw that this is a palindrome and you're not gonna move forward. Is that correct?
Look, I already saw. It's not so much that. It's just I just consider what I need to do at each step. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's actually the problem here. So here XTY DGD. Yeah. So basically, I just consider what am I doing at each step, right? And here you just got hung up. You just got hung up on one side of your example.
Exactly that.
So yeah, that's really it. And so now you know that. Can you finish the whole thing?
I can try.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. So basically, since we just checked that, yeah, that's what I was asking to do. Now I'm gonna try to solve.
Okay, go ahead.
Since XTY, right? It's not a palindrome. We just need to. Yeah, that's need to be splitted. So
Okay.
this is gonna be like the minimum palindrome. So, like, um, and to move forward, what I was trying to do, what I can do is actually maybe think about the splits and keep track of the number of splits instead of like accumulating the palindromes itself.
Okay.
So I just gonna need to draw out this without going to the code. 'Cause
Yeah.
Without this, I cannot have any idea.
Because remember, what the thing is, I think what you forgot is the reason why you're not able to really do the top-down approach and deletion is because you don't understand what you. It's like you have some understanding of what you need to do at each step, but then what are the possibilities you're considering? I think that's a little bit of a misunderstanding there, and that's kind of like what's killing you. But we'll discuss that later. So go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So for this first one, yeah, I just tried this.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, but again, I'm going to the old
Go
thing.
to the right side.
Yeah, I'm just considering the right side. I'm just thinking, how can I consider on the right? Yeah, I'm just going to the left. I just need to see.
Okay.
How can I consider the left? So I can check both sides, like if that's a palindrome and if this TYDQD is a palindrome. In this case, this portion of the left side, the right side is not. So I just need to keep trying to do cuts here,
Okay.
right? So let me just move from here. So for the left, I don't need to do nothing, but for the right, yeah, I can do one cut here. And yeah, I will check that this portion on the left, this first portion is a palindrome and just need to cut. I think I'm going the same direction.
Okay.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Right side is you don't cut, right?
No, yeah, no, but here's the thing. When I arrive into this state here, right? I'll verify that my left side is already a palindrome. My right side is a palindrome, DQD, right? So there's no more needs for cuts.
No. What I'm
So-
saying is here, like in your tree, this. Let's say you go one down the left side, right? Left side represents the cut, and right side represents the decision not to cut, right? So in this example, you should be doing this, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was
Yeah. So
trying to.
this is what I mean. Okay.
Skip steps.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I don't think you're gonna solve this one. I want you to do this one on your own. Now that you understand what you're doing wrong, I think that most of the issues that I'm seeing is just you trying to avoid doing something you're not comfortable with, but then you never really tried to figure out how to actually do it. And I think if you try to actually test, not just like test it with like by hand, which is good if you're doing it, but also if you try testing it by plugging it into the Grokking compiler and the test case that they got for you, you would have realized that hey, I'm doing something wrong. So that's basically the takeaway from today's session.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should do this problem on your own, and then just make sure that you're testing with Grokking. That's it.
One question here about the feedback as well.
Okay.
For example, you saw that in my solution, I was going to a more convoluted
Yeah.
solution, right? We recommend when I acknowledge that it's getting too big, my solution, in terms of like complex, not too big in terms of code. You already mentioned how should I behave to this.
Yeah.
But for this case here, that I just need to count the splits, the cuts itself.
Yeah.
I should, even though I don't know still how to do this, I need to go into this direction, right?
I'm saying that, yeah, because you remember how you mentioned before, you skipped steps in order to try and represent this? I literally told you, I would want you to at least complete it, don't skip the step, because I think that's what's going to kill you, and it literally killed you. I didn't even have to know, I didn't even have to look at the rest of the problem to know that was going to be a red flag, and it ended up killing you, so.
Yeah, I think that was okay. Anyways,
Anyway, the point here is like complete your example on that one, and then really understand what you're trying to do at each step. Like you said all you need to do is either cut or not cut. Well then,
Yeah.
what do you need to return back at each step? Remember what we talked about with recursion. What are you giving in?
For sure.
What are you getting back out? and why
Yeah.
do you need to carry what you need to carry around. So in this case, if you decide to do either cut or no cut, let's you see where my highlighting is. Like let's say for instance,
No.
I go, huh?
Oh yeah, I see now.
Yeah. So let's say I go left side, right side, right? It's just the minimum of these lefts of the left side and right side, right? And the left side, all I'm doing is just cutting. Is I've decided to cut, right? So then what's the minimum number of cuts if I choose? What's the minimum number of cuts of the rest of these operations? Plus 1 to represent the cut that I'm making. Or if there's no cut, then what's the minimum number of operations for this?
Oh yeah, between the two choices, like the minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I see. No, I exactly see how to solve this problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I want you to do it on your own, because I don't think
I'll
it's
do it.
gonna take a while. I can tell it's gonna take a while.
No, can I just say one thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, I'll keep trying this. Okay, like for the XTY, the same thing. Yeah, just repeating, right? But I will just try to cut on the DQD.
Sure.
And then just compare the two choices, like which one had the less cuts, and then return to the top of it. But I will do it, and it's gonna put
All right.
Anyways,
And this last week I want you to spend on dynamic programming. I think it's taking you a while, but that's fine. Because I really want you to, after you get done with this, I really want you to go back and try to do the other problems that are not dynamic programming. So kind of go back, get back into full gear before Saturday.
you mentioned for me to follow the 1 month plan, right? From EPI.
Yeah, I can tell you're struggling a little bit with dynamic programming, but I think you get a little bit more bang for your buck if you do EPI. So finish this, and I guess maybe it's one more problem just to make sure that you really understand how to do these problems, and then get back to EPI. That's basically what the prognosis is.
Okay. Just one more problem about dynamic programming, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Okay. Okay then.
All right. Anything else?
No, not anything else.
All right, cool. Then I'm going to let you go. All right.
Okay.
All right. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
man.
All right. I'll see you on
Bye.
Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you. Bye bye. Okay. Cool. So that was it. Let me hang up. So yeah, in other news, we did hit 2,000 subscribers. So that was pretty cool. Either way, if there's any questions in the chat. Okay. At Seneca, we produce seeds, harvest, cross, manufacture our own containers, and provide a wide range of nutritious fruits and vegetable products. Okay, so they're basically farmers. That's the thing. And so if you think about agriculture, you need to produce this. Well, in the basic case, you need to produce seeds, plant it, water them, provide the infrastructure to grow them, and then turn them into food products. So it's not. It's like it should be the revenue scales with the costs. And what does it look like for people to? What does it look like for a company to grow 10% year over year? It's like one, it just needs to sell food. I mean, it's gonna be hit by. It just needs to keep selling food at 10% year over year. So, what does that look like? Is there gonna be 10% more people getting hungrier? Yeah, I mean, just follow the population growth, I think. And yeah, I think that as long as there's people who get born, there's people who need to be fed. That's really it. So I'm fine with that. Whether or not they choose Seneca Foods over anything else is questionable, but I think that based on what I saw, it's fine. Is there any other questions actually in the chat? I'm kind of curious. I know today was a little bit of a short session, but I cut it short because I want him to really focus on the coding and dynamic programming and all that stuff. Because I didn't see a point in going further. All he did was dynamic programming, and I get the feeling that's basically all the mistakes he made. So, is there any other questions from the chat? Going once. Going twice. I guess I'll give it another minute or something, but nothing. All right, chill. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully, I know this was a shorter session than usual, but hopefully you guys learned something. And yeah, we'll have a session on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully you guys join me for that. Thank you all for joining. Follow me on my socials. Links are in the description below. And I'll see y'all next time.